We are coming live from, we will say, Leesburg, Virginia, outside of the Washington, D.C. area. And our very special guest, her name is Allison O'Connor. I know her also as Allison Sitch.
She did.
I'm getting used to officially your newer name, going back to your maiden name. Allison is the Senior Vice President, Strategic Communications for the U.S. Travel Association.
That's exactly right.
I'm thrilled to have her on the show, and I'm thrilled that we're able to be reconnected. So welcome.
Thank you. It has been too long in terms of the gap in our relationship. I never, ever had you out of my thoughts, been following on your podcast, been following you on LinkedIn and all the great things that you've been doing. But when we caught up a few weeks ago, yourself, myself, and Terry, it was just like reconnecting after a couple of hours of not seeing you. And, so,
And I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And I adored you from the moment that I met you. And do you remember how we first got really connected? The first opportunity? And I will tell you if you can't remember.
You tell me.
It was on a plane ride coming back from somewhere. And we sat next to each other and we talked about your time in Dubai. And we talked about Charlotte, your daughter. And you showed me pictures before a fitness journey, and you showed me pictures after a fitness journey. And we talked a little bit about business and hospitality, but not much.
Yes, I do now remember.
Yeah, and it was equal conversation back and forth.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you tell me all about you, Allison. You also wanted to know equally about me. And I think that's why we feel very much connected. This podcast goes out to over 100,000 people. We're fortunate that it's a top 2% podcast in the world. And I can say that it's because of people like you. And it's because we're going to get to understand more about Allison O'Connor as a human being. And I love that you were trying to prepare for this. And what I said is, it's all about you. You know the answers. It's all about you. And it's about what makes you, me. And what motivates you to do what most people don't do. We're going to get to that. But can you start by telling us about growing up? Where did you grow up? Did you have siblings? And what were some of the early influencers in your life?
Yes, thank you. What a lovely intro, by the way. And I do remember that conversation. I grew up on the south coast of England. I'm from Southampton originally, the place that the Titanic sailed out of is the way everybody knows it, but there is so much more to it than that. My father was in the prison service and worked his way up.
I'm glad you put service at the end of that.
Yes.
My father was in prison.
Service,
okay.
He was one of very few professionals in the industry that started at the bottom with the big ring of keys, locking and unlocking the cell doors, and worked his way up to be what is called over here a prison warden. It's a prison governor in England. So I'm incredibly proud of him and the road that he took. And the reason that that's relevant to my story is because he showed me what hard work can do. He wasn't afforded the opportunity of an incredible education, but thought, well, I'm going to seize this life myself, make something of myself. And though it was a hard route for him, he was very accomplished and received a royal award for his contributions and really did make his mark. And I have very early memories of going to see my father on a Saturday morning at the prison officers' mess club at the prison, where the officers there could see their families for a few hours because they worked 6-7 day weeks and were never at home when their children were awake. And so that's the memory I have, and the understanding that he was really doing that for us and to be something himself. I remember him telling me there's usually a hard way to do things and an easy way to do things. And I did have one sibling, my younger sister Paula, who told us both, I would like you to take the easier route, to try at school, to be accomplished, to go on, get an education. My sister took his advice. I didn't. So I took the hard way. And through my career, I still have my father in my life today, fortunately. And he still reminds me that I took the harder route, but that I can afford to feel proud of the journey that I took.
And of course, and when you say harder route, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And we're good recording? Is good? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? The harder route that you took.
Yes.
What were your options, and what path did you go on?
Yeah, great question. So the option was the education that he would have worked even harder to provide me, the further education. And I thought I knew better and wanted to jump straight into the world of work at the age of 18 when I graduated high school. And that meant starting at the bottom. The first 6 months of my career was grating a piece of cheese as big as the surface of this table and about a foot high every day. I would be given this piece of cheese. For 6 months, that was my entry into the workplace, grating cheese.
Okay.
My sister went on to study psychology and criminal profiling and psychiatric nursing and was quite brilliant at what she did, worked hard nonetheless, but the route into her career was a lot faster than mine. And so that's what I mean by taking the harder route, potentially. But it was the right route for me.
Okay, and why?
Because that journey has brought me to where I am today.
Obviously, it was the right path.
It absolutely was.
Grating cheese for how long?
6 months.
For 6 months. And that propelled you to what?
So that was at a Michelin-star restaurant that I had high hopes of working in. I never even worked at a restaurant, but I wanted to work in that one, waitressing. That was the goal when I was 18. And the restaurant had written back to me, so we don't have anyone work with us that doesn't come with pedigree in food service. And since you don't have that, you need to work in a kitchen for 6 months to understand how this business works. I didn't understand the grating cheese part until the end of the 6-month period when it dawned on me that whilst I was manually grating the cheese, I was observing everything happening
The whole time.
in the operation. The whole time I was paying attention to everything, the way everything was made, the way people conducted themselves, the levels of respect, how things came together, the sense of collaboration and teamwork needed, the push-pull between the people working at the front of the business and the people working in the back.
Was that intentional? Did they put you into that role intentionally?
Yes. Oh, they did. And let me tell you, I would grate that cheese for 9 or 10 hours. But 10 minutes before the end of my shift, most of the cheese hadn't been grated. It was an enormous piece of cheese. They would come and grab it from me and throw it into a machine that grated it in a minute. It was a test of my will. First of all, was I prepared to do it?
Yeah.
The job that didn't really need to be done. And secondly, it was to make sure I was paying attention.
What a test. What a
It
test.
was an incredible test.
And I am always looking for words when I interview folks to be able to identify what is the topic going to be, what is the title going to be. So for our dear friend Simon Cooper, God rest his soul,
Yeah.
it was his defining moment. The line that he shared with me was a boat that broke and the beckoning of the sea. That was his defining message after we had talked for about an hour. That was his defining moment, because if he had been put on a boat that worked, he would not have learned to be a leader. He would not have learned to fix it.
Yes.
A boat that broke in the beckoning of the sea, and also the sea was symbolic about him being able to breathe better with his asthma and his respiratory situation, to be able to breathe better.
Yes.
And I just want to insert that because we both
Yes.
respect and admire that gentleman
Very
who
much.
influenced us so
Very
much.
much.
But the word that I got from you so far is without pedigree.
Yes.
Without pedigree.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that's what we're alluding to so far.
Yeah.
You were put into a Michelin 5-star restaurant without pedigree.
Yes.
And you had to grate cheese.
Yes.
But it was intentional that you observe.
Exactly.
What did that role then lead to? And then I want to move into your non-culinary aspect of what you're doing.
Yeah,
but
please
what did that role lead into?
So the relationships that I forged, the trust that I gained from the people I worked with there, and the respect that I commanded from them set me up for the career move that followed, which was actually the move to Dubai in 1992. And that was, by the way, Dubai in 1992 wasn't like Dubai today. It was all desert, all sand, a very few expats. Now there's a population of more than 1 million expats in Dubai. And that tenacity, the hard work, the ability to show that I was in it for all the right reasons made me an attractive proposition as an employee. So the head chef there, when he moved to Dubai in this fabulous role, made the call to me when he got there and said, there are positions, so we need people exactly like you.
Okay.
And there began the real journey of my life, not just my career. And the reason I say that is because when I think about your analogy with Simon Cooper and his boat journey, my physical journey to travel the world and work has led me to be who I am. Travel has made me better.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about pedigree. I mean, as a human being,
Yeah.
I have had, and we were talking about this earlier, the most desperate moments in my life, the most challenging moments in my life were the ones that were most pivotal for me to springboard to the next thing, which when I was thinking about coming to see you today was an aha moment to me. I've never thought of it before, because usually I think we consider movements in life being the happy moments when things go well, when relationships are wonderful, when you're progressing. And yet every one of my pivotal moments were at a low point for me.
Really? And before we hit record, you asked me the question.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What 3 words would describe
Yes.
who you are today?
Do you remember
and your
one of
success?
them?
Family.
And starts with a T.
Trauma.
Yes.
Yes.
Trauma. And I
Yes.
was not expecting that.
Yes.
But when you asked me 3 pivotal words that would describe it, trauma, hope, and family. But the trauma aspect, interesting, pivotal moment. If I would not have had that experience as an out-of-body experience as a 12 or 13-year-old,
Yes.
I would not be the person I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Understanding, you moved to Dubai. I'm sensing a couple of things. Hard work, determination, influenced by your father.
Yeah.
You chose very stubbornly to go a certain route that you were going to prove it to yourself and probably to everyone else that I can work hard and I can go. I chose this path. My sister chose that path, but I'm going to get to a good destination as well.
Yes.
Before we move on to Dubai, influence of your mom.
Oh, very much
Yes.
so. I'm
How so? One point that she had influenced to you today.
My mum was very social, chatty, always wanted to make people feel very welcome when they came in our home. She was very mumsy, we would say in England. She very much instilled upon me certain things that I still do today, keeping a wonderful home in every sense of the word. She had immaculate taste. Again, our family originally didn't come from any kind of wealth and good fortune, and yet our home was stunning. She took such great care of it, and I like to think I model those behaviors and that sense of hospitality.
Yes, that's what I'm sensing.
Yeah.
I'm envisioning not just keeping a nice home, but the welcoming aspect
Absolutely.
of a home.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so all of those things, hard work, hospitality, 2 things now generating to your career. So first job then in Dubai. Was
Yes.
it still in the restaurant, food and beverage
It was.
industry?
It was, yes, with an expat club. I don't even know if it still exists there today. The path for me there was to get to Hyatt. I worked in the Hyatt Regency in Dubai back in those early 90s and worked my way up in food and beverage to become assistant director of food and beverage. And this was another pivotal moment because it was the tail end of the Gulf War. And business was tanking in Dubai, across the Arabian Gulf in those days. And so I remember the general manager at the time said to me, Allison, we can't keep you in the role that you're in today. The business levels can't sustain it. I do want to keep you in the hotel, so I want to park you in another job for up to a year. I'm confident business will come back and I can put you back in the operation. And I said, well, okay, but where do you want to park me? And he said, in the public relations position.
Right.
And I remember literally having tears in my eyes saying, surely not. He can't think of me as this fluffy bunny PR person. I work really hard. I'm not ditzy. I had this terrible perception of what PR and communications was really all about, going back to the 90s. And he asked me just to take the journey, which I did. And of course, I never went back. He saw something in me
Again.
that I hadn't seen in myself.
Yeah.
I said yes. I said yes to grating the cheese. I said yes to getting on the plane to going to Dubai. I said yes
to being parked in a PR position
that I didn't want. And I do think that there's something there that has been the root to the path that I ended up taking. The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. But I'm curious, going back to your origination with your father wanted your life to be easier than his. He said, Allison, go this route, get a degree, study psychology, study business. And you were stubborn to say no. But then we have 3 examples of someone that was seeing something in you that you did not see. And now all of a sudden, you're not being stubborn. You're saying, okay, I'll grate the cheese for 6 months. Okay, I'll move to Dubai. Okay, I'll be parked in his PR wall. Was your stubbornness changing? Were you becoming, like, what changed?
I became humble and realized that I didn't have the pick of the crop. I needed, when you're out in the world especially, and this is why I go back to travel, and moving around this world, you all of a sudden realize how much bigger than you it is.
The world.
And the experiences in the world, how little you really know, especially age 23, 20. And so it was a humbling experience to realize, actually, this path I thought I was on isn't the path that I can continue to take.
Did you ever go to your father, back to your father, and say, thank you for letting me be stubborn?
No, I don't think I have. And shame on me. I mean, I thank him for who I am.
Of course.
But yes, no. But I don't know that he would have considered me being stubborn. Now, he would consider me stubborn, but I don't think he considered my behavior stubborn at the time. He said to me, when I had the opportunity to fly to Dubai, the place no one had even heard of, I didn't even know it. He said, go. Travel the world, do what I couldn't do. Okay. Come back and tell me all about it.
So that is the element that he wanted a better life for you, and then you began to get there by travel, by your worldly experiences. You're in Dubai, you're doing public relations. How long did it take before it gravitated, it resonated, it started to fill your soul? Because you are one of the best public relations communicators, marketing, strategic communications people, can I keep on going, that I know in the world.
Thank you.
When did it start to resonate with you?
Very quickly. Within weeks, months of doing the role, I have an affinity for it. Understanding that it didn't have to be a fluffy position, that it could have substance, that I knew so much about the business that it actually made me a great choice. I have the ability to communicate, and at the end of the day, to be a great communicator, you have to know your material. You have to know your craft and understand what you're speaking about. And it was very quick.
In the travel to Dubai, living there, did you begin then to travel to other parts in that public relations role? What did that begin to, how did that add to or enhance your life?
Yes. So it was really when I started my career with the Ritz-Carlton that the travel kicked in. We were opening hotels across the Arabian Gulf, and I was the person in the Gulf at that time working for this iconic luxury brand. There was no other Allison. Now, there's an awful lot of Allisons out there, but back then, no. And Ritz-Carlton very quickly saw that I was able to do the job for them and move around the region with ease. And that came from really embracing the people, the culture, the experience of Arabia, which, by the way, is where I think the genesis of true hospitality actually comes from.
Okay.
You know, that Arabian warm welcome, being enveloped and cosseted and pulled into the homes of the people and given the Arabic tea or coffee and the fresh dates and his sincere desire to welcome. I have that memory of Arabia. And so getting to know the local people, because the expat community was so small, gave me the ability to understand how to navigate around cultural nuances. Ritz-Carlton saw that, gave me the position and started to move me around Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, all over the region. I took on Egypt, Turkey. And so the region continued to grow, and then we expanded across Asia Pacific. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, and understanding hospitality. That was one of your takeaways by traveling to all of these incredible countries.
Yes.
Seeing the people, understanding hospitality, and then I'm sure, did you become even more humble at that point?
I think as a person, yes. Professionally, likely no. I think I developed a great sense of confidence.
Yeah.
Professionally, I was quick to realize the space I was occupying was one that I had the opportunity to really own over there.
And you certainly did.
Yes.
Okay, you had been in Dubai for how long?
I was 14 years.
14 years. And all of a sudden, some senior leaders from Ritz-Carlton are coming over to visit with you. And who were they and what did they say to you, Allison?
Yeah, so they were the wonderful Simon Cooper that we just talked about.
Past president of Ritz-Carlton. I don't know if I had shared that, but yes.
Simon and Bob Karasmi, who was at the time the leader of the Middle East and Asia Pacific for the Ritz-Carlton. And I remember them coming to say, you call yourself global, Allison. You're actually not. You've never done North America. I hadn't even been here. And they said to you, you're international. We'll give you that. But if you want to be global, you need to come to North America. And I said, I don't think so. I'm very happy here. I am European. I was living this incredibly rich life of travel and experiences. Gaining knowledge that I understood gave me a real edge in the travel business. And so I declined the offer, and they came back 3 months later. Bob came back 3 months later and said, it's the last time I'm going to ask you. You said no, and I think you made a mistake. I think you should rethink that.
What went through your mind?
He's Syrian.
He was serious, yes. He believed in you just like those other three examples.
Exactly.
I'm going to hire you without pedigree to grate the cheese. I'm going to hire you without pedigree to be in public relations. I'm going to hire you. I'm going to bring you to North America and make you global without pedigree, Allison O'Connor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you said what and why did you say?
I said yes.
Why?
I said yes then. A couple of different reasons. Exactly what you just described. There was a sense of familiarity. I've been here before, and it worked for me. Yeah. That there are other people that see something in me that I don't seem capable of seeing within myself. And then I harken back to the story with my family, my journey, which was, it was a pause moment for me, because I suddenly realized the girl from very hard-working roots was going to be propelled to lead communications globally for one of the most iconic luxury brands in the world.
Yes.
How could I say no?
How could you say no? And I'm so glad that you said yes. I'm so glad you said yes. Are you a confident person?
Professionally, yes. I'm confident. I think like every other mother I've ever met, I don't know that I've always been a confident parent. I have the biggest heart and have the will and desire and the hopes to do the right thing. But I think personally, the confidence is always there.
Okay, but let me just tell you, you should be a confident person, personally and professionally. You should be. That's what I'm telling you. Yes. Yes. How's that for a directive? Write that down. Bart told me I should be a very confident person. Because you are kind, you are energetic, you are thoughtful, you are caring. And we are going to move into, if you don't mind, the situation of working very, very hard, representing a global brand. And then your position gets elevated, correct? So not just within Ritz-Carlton, you were doing global communications for Marriott International in a different role. And then the pandemic hit. Can you talk about some of the struggles, the challenges, the hours, the effort that you put in? Because you had shared with me before, not an easy time. You were trying to keep how many thousands of employees motivated by subtle communications that the world is not good right now, but you will be okay. Can you share some of those stories?
Sure, yes, I'd be happy to. So go straight to the period of COVID.
Yes, and how you handle it. So you have massive responsibilities.
Yep. So at that time, Marriott International had purchased Starwood hotels, and there was a reorganization of everything, including communications. And so I was fortunate that I assumed the role for the Americas, leading public relations across everything from Canada down to Argentina, 5,500 hotels across. Marriott had 30 brands, however many of them were in North America at that time. A very different role for me, going from one brand that I knew very, very well indeed, albeit a global footprint, a much smaller group of hotels where I knew everybody, yourself included, knew how to get things done, went to this bigger role. So that was already a big transition. And I found myself again having to prove that I knew more than one brand. I could translate the skill set that I had and apply it across all these different verticals now. And there were some naysayers along the way, but the leaders that I had at that time completely, once again,
Supportive, saw something in you.
Yes, absolutely. And encouraged me to really think that white paper exercise, what should this organization look like? How do we build the future? And supported the development of that network. When COVID hit, it was after 4 years of doing that role, so I was entrenched in the position, very much enjoying it. When COVID came along, yes, I mean, for the entire industry, we both remember how hard it was for many industries, but definitely for travel. And so, yes, there was concern for tens of thousands of employees in America alone, the future, their careers, what was going to happen. And the most memorable part of that journey from a communication standpoint to me was another incredible leader and gentleman who's sadly no longer with us, Arne Sorensen, the then president and CEO of Marriott International, was on his own very difficult personal health journey and created a video to all employees that showed me leadership at a very difficult time at its very finest. He believed in transparency, telling everybody what was happening. He had earned trust from a workforce of 750,000 people were wearing the Marriott name badge prior to COVID. And he showed through this incredible leadership and communication how to be open and honest and lead with dignity and respect. That was the beginning of a very difficult journey, and I think the rest is history. At the same time, I was going through a personal, challenging journey, a health journey within my family, and trying to deal with that. And I made a very, very difficult decision to leave myself. That was a decision that I owned. Not something I thought I would ever do. I intended to retire with Marriott one day. But yes, it's sort of culmination of things.
And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is that you were handling crisis communication.
I was.
Talk about crisis. There's crisis globally. There's crisis within the world, within the industry. And then you also realize that there was crisis at home.
Yeah.
And I am so proud that you made the decision that instead of working 18 hours a day, which you had been doing,
Yes.
in 19 hours a day, in 7 days a week, because you're grading that cheese.
Yeah.
People need me. I'm grading that cheese. I'm a hard worker. I want to help get this message out. You want to help support Arnie Sorensen. But then you were also observing, which a lot of people do not do. You were grading the cheese, and you were looking at work, you were looking at crisis, and you were looking at home. And thank goodness you were working at home.
Yes.
And you helped to solve that crisis at home. And again, I am so proud of you for doing that. A couple of things that I'm learning more about you. You trust individuals that are great leaders.
Yes.
You are trusting in people that see in you perhaps what you don't see in yourself. You were smart enough to work hard, but also observe. You became less stubborn, more flexible, more humble, open to new opportunities, and you have been able to accomplish so much, which leads us to time off. Great. Took care of the family situation. Everyone is healthy and happy and doing strong. And then, okay, here you are, more than 30 years old, I think maybe 31 or 32. You have X number of years within Marriott Ritz-Carlton. How many years total?
21.
Okay, so you almost got the quarter century club, almost.
Almost.
And then what are you thinking? Okay, the family is good now.
Yes.
What were you thinking that you wanted to do next? And I, again, so thrilled with U.S. Travel Association
Yes.
because there's so many components. The last part that we're going to talk about is how can our listeners help you? How can they help U.S. Travel Association? But was it difficult to find what you wanted to be able to do? How did this opportunity present itself? Because
Yeah.
after 21 years, sometimes people are lost. I only know to work for this company.
That's right. Yes. Well, I did take a piece of advice along the way that said maybe look outside of travel. And so I actually did spend 3 years working in the home service sector for a company that was transitioning to be fully tech forward. And the reason I made the decision to go and do that was simply because I had bought into the notion that if I hadn't worked in tech, I would be lost returning sort of into a senior communications role. That wasn't entirely true, by the way. But I'm glad I had the experience. It was a great learning, and I worked with some brilliant minds from the world of Amazon and Google, AOL, just people. But it really wasn't for me. It was a very heavily transactional business. And it was a reminder to myself that I thrive on human interaction.
The home, the hospitality.
All of that, exactly. And I realized that even in the tech world, there is still this great need for human interactions, for the person-to-person moments. And to learn, I also think we all go down the slippery slope of looking at our screens and believing what we see, or understanding that knowledge just comes from that screen. And yet I think about my own journey, and the knowledge I've gathered has been from people and experiences and being out in the world, from hard knocks, from wonderful moments to celebrate, and it's all being human for me.
Everything. Yes, I'm with you.
So I wanted to get back to that. I was fortunate that the opportunity at US Travel came along because travel is in my blood. I have lived it. My daughter was born in Dubai, raised in America. I was born in Europe, grew up across Middle East and Asia, and now live in America. And it's my life. I believe in the benefits of travel. I believe travel is a force for good. I believe that travel brings knowledge and understanding and information. When you have those things, you are less afraid. People I have found who don't travel as much, and I'm not just talking about around the world, by the way, I mean community to community or
more
state to
afraid.
state, are more afraid of the unknown. When you've been out there and you've seen that people are good everywhere, it makes you less afraid.
Yes, I am with you. And if I can just insert a couple of things. So we're doing this live from a coffee shop. I've introduced you to 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
And I could tell you something that I learned from each of the people that I introduced you to, because it was face-to-face, it was travel, it was humanity, and I didn't learn about Robert Shelton next door. I didn't learn about Barney Schwenke next door by looking at my phone. I learned stories about humanity, stories about kindness, stories about entrepreneurship from this travel, even if it's local travel.
Yes.
And the same thing, if we are 15, 20 minutes away, there was no way that I wanted to set up a Zoom call with you.
That's right.
We need to do this face-to-face to be able to learn from each other. I am so grateful for what you are sharing, and also for our listeners, don't be afraid to travel. Yes. People are genuinely kind. People can make you feel comfortable. Doesn't matter what country you're going to, you will be able to find people to be able to learn from and help enrich your life.
Yeah.
Great. You're traveling, you're learning things, you're enriching your life. Then what? For people in general, why is it important to travel? Okay, great. It's going to enrich their life. They're going to learn. They're not going to be afraid. Then what?
Then they choose their own path.
Yeah.
They have the options open to them. There is no them mud. It's what you want it to be.
Yes, yeah. And I know that was a very high-gain question, and you nailed it. Don't worry.
And then they will be happy. Go in pursuit of happiness, and by traveling, you see what happiness looks like in many different forms.
Okay, give me an example.
Absolutely. I mean, we both traveled to different parts of the world where personal finance doesn't define happiness for most, not just many, for most people. It is that sense of love and being cherished and belonging. I will tell you, the most impressionable moments in my life from an emotional perspective has been when I've been in environments where there is very little, but I've been given very much. Kindness definitely plays a part in that, right? But it might just be holding someone. I've been in an environment when someone has held my hand. I don't remember now. Did I tell you the story of being in Dubai during 9/11, which was the most desperately sad time for the world? And I was living in a very Arabic neighborhood. And for the first time living there, I was afraid. And I was working for the Ritz-Carlton, and it was the evening time for us, and the general manager of the hotel said to us, none of you are going home. We're all staying in the hotel tonight. We're going to lock down. We're just going to focus on everyone's safety and security. Stay together. The next morning came, and we worked through the day, and I said, I have to go home. I need to change. And I went home that night, and I lived in a very Arabic community where their homes, there were those streets around our homes. We had homes with walls around them and a gate, and they were scattered across the deserts. So I had a Jeep. I drove off-road across the sand to get to my house, pulled up outside, and it was dark. And I went into my home, went to sleep. I was exhausted. The next morning, so now this is the 13th of September, when I came out of my home, all of the women in the neighborhood that I had come to know over many years had adorned their mourning attire. And they were sat cross-legged outside my home. And they were bouncing backwards and forwards and wailing as soon as I opened my gate. And there were thousands of rose petals around my house. And they were wailing in mourning for me.
God.
They couldn't distinguish the difference between someone from England, someone from America, but they knew that it was a desperately sad time. It was a very impactful moment for me. They gave me, as I walked through them to get to my car, they would all grab my hand. It was not, there was no good feeling to come from that moment, of course, but it's a moment that I will never forget.
It was comfort.
It was comfort.
And it was them sharing sorrow with you. But it's this feeling. And thank you for sharing that story. It's the feeling. You had talked about when you travel, the benefit is being able to get to see what else makes people happy. There's a home right across the street. And if I'm working here, I see them come out about 3 o'clock with a snack, husband and wife. Because you can see both of them are working in separate offices in their home. They come out and they sit on the porch and they have a snack together almost every single day at 3 o'clock. That's what makes them happy in Leesburg, Virginia. We're going to Memphis, Tennessee next week. We were in Punta Cana a couple of weeks before. I can identify, and that's what I look for personally. I am looking for what is making people happy in Boston.
Yeah.
What is making people happy in Chicago when I go home to Pittsburgh? What is making people happy there? Seeing, observing, grating cheese, observing, and then I pull that into my own heart, and that helps make me happy. And I believe that that is, for me, the value and the essence of travel. Moving to your role right now, Senior Vice President of Strategic Communications. What does that mean? What is your role with U.S. Travel Association? And it's okay, the light went out.
So if I talk about the role of U.S. travel first, it's to promote travel. It's to promote travel around America domestically, and it's to promote travel to America from the outside. So with that lens, to communicate the benefits of travel is a key part of our role, to advocate for the benefits of travel. The huge one, of course, is the economy. We talked about traveling to meet one another here in a coffee shop where we're doing business.
Yes.
Giving a local business revenue. Right?
Yeah.
The whole travel ecosystem is a huge economic driver. And it's not just hotels and airlines and Ubers. It is the people who are selling things in the market.
Yeah. Is it gas to get here?
It's the gas.
Everything. It's everything.
All of it.
The newspaper that I'm going to pick up at the gas station to get here.
Exactly.
Okay.
The glow from the impact of travel is vast, and it's something that is such a rich career for me, because I believe not only in the benefits of physical travel, but in that glow.
Of travel.
Exactly, and the benefits to all from doing it. But beyond the economic value, I also believe in the sense of well-being that you have when you're on the road and reconnecting and having those person-to-person interactions. So many benefits to travel, and that's what we're focused on talking about.
The benefits of travel. And what if I share with you, we were at a conference in Punta Cana, a kindness conference in which I was speaking, and I was talking to a travel advisor. And she told me that the benefit of travel, it saved her marriage.
Wow.
Because she was able to go on a vacation, just her and her husband, and she became very emotional about it. This one trip that she took saved her marriage. It's making people happy. It's educating them. It's allowing them to learn differently. And there are so many different benefits to travel. So your role is to help celebrate that glow.
Correct.
And
not just
promote
celebrate it, but promote it.
Okay.
I think that there is a perception sometimes when we talk about travel, it means getting on a plane to go somewhere. So it's educating what travel really means, the opportunities to do it. It's making sure that at the highest levels in Washington, D.C., that the right investment is made in the infrastructure for travel, like for airports, for roads and bridges and railways, and the things that we need here to make things like seamless and secure travel a reality, for safety and security when you're coming in and out of the country, for screening processes. How do we make them easier for people? How do we make travel a little less cumbersome and make it flow a little more in terms of the way that we would jump in and out of a taxi to go somewhere? Now, how do you just jump on and off of a plane to go and connect with someone that you've missed desperately? Or to get that knowledge that you're seeking that you can't find at home.
Yeah, and I've not thought about travel that way. And I'm sure many of our listeners have not thought about travel that way. That's why I wanted to get you on the podcast. One, to be able to understand the uniqueness that is Allison O'Connor, and the value and the joy that you are bringing to so many people, because you are encouraging travel, you are celebrating travel, you're promoting travel, which is going to lead to kindness, and it's going to lead to happiness, and it's going to lead to enrichment.
Yeah.
It is so much more than just an airplane.
Yeah.
How can our listeners help you
They can travel.
Okay, travel, spend money, buy local, buy in-state. What else can they do?
Absolutely. I think, listen, it's when you are traveling and taking in that full travel experience, well, first of all, invest in the businesses and communities that really need the investment. Absolutely. But beyond that, if you feel passionately about something, speak up about it. We are an organization that is advocating for attention, and so speak up, write to your congressman, make the call if your airport isn't working seamlessly. Be part of the reason that the change gets made, most certainly. But most of all, just travel to better yourself. It's not what you can do for US travel, it's what you can do for yourself as a human.
And I'm going to take one additional thought on that. While they are traveling, better yourself, great. But while they are not traveling, what about being more hospitable?
So
having a lovely home, as you said, home. What can we do to be more hospitable wherever we are when we're not traveling?
Let me tell you what travel has really done for me, and it's contrary to what I've just been saying in some regard. The fact that I have traveled so much professionally and personally has made me value being at home even more. Ironically, the person who's promoting travel is happiest at home. And I'm happiest at home because I travel.
Yes.
And I come home and I realize the value of what I have, and that connection with my family and that time spent, which to me is so precious.
Yeah.
There is nothing more valuable than that. If I'd been at home all the time, I don't know, maybe I would have the same view on it. But I haven't had the opportunity to always be at home. Wow, I value it now.
Yeah.
Most precious thing in my life.
And I also think the more that we can be hospitable to anybody, to be more kind to anybody,
Everybody has time for kindness.
People that are coming into this area, as an example, let me open up the door. And maybe they are from North Carolina, and maybe they were displaced.
Yeah.
And maybe I can offer something to be able to help them.
Yes.
There are so many things that we can do while we are not traveling to help travelers.
Yeah.
While we do travel, we want to enrich our lives. All right, I think I have the title now. It's taken this amount of time of listening to you. I want to thank you, first of all, Allison O'Connor. Allison O'Connor. I want to say your other name, Allison O'Connor. It's your maiden name, right?
It
Your
is,
traditional name,
yes.
Allison O'Connor.
Good Irish name.
Senior Vice President, Strategic Communications, U.S. Travel Association. What is the website for you?
ustravel.org.
ustravel.org. Here's the title of this, perhaps, if you like it. Without pedigree, but best of breed, best in class.
How lovely.
And I'm only saying that without pedigree is because you had shared that term.
It's
not in
official.
a negative way,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
best in class,
I'm
best
proud
of
of it,
breed.
by the way.
You should be.
Yes.
Without pedigree, but best in class, best of breed.
Yeah.
Not from a canine perspective, but you are best in class. You are world class.
Thank you.
I always ask my guests, fill in the blank. Name of the podcast, most people don't. Most people don't blank.
Travel. Most people don't travel and should. Most people don't appreciate the small things.
Yes. And the small things could be a gesture. It could be a nod. It could be a wave. It could be a handshake. It could be a high five. It could be holding a hand. It could be a flower petal.
Yeah.
It could be a recognition. There are so
Be a
many.
little green stone.
A little green stone. It could be someone buying you a cup of coffee.
It could.
So, Allison O'Connor, thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
So
Bart.
grateful.
I'm so proud of you, by the way. Like the leading podcast, I could not be more proud, and you're so well suited for it. You made a big impact on my life,
Wow.
so I appreciate it.
No, thank you.